be a key for success for the Republicans in 2016?
Maybe in a general election, but honestly, I think not in a primary. I think people
midterm elections.
I mean, but I'm even thinking if he does run for the presidency, if he runs for the presidency, the base of the Republican Party is angry right now. They're unhappy. And I think if he were to run for the presidency, he'd have to have a little bit of a re-education in how to talk to the base of the party, because it's changed over the last 7 or 8 years.
It's become more, shall we say, more to the right?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
the whole country has become more polarized, and the base of the Republican Party, particularly with the Tea Party on the rise, I think it's a different party than Jeb Bush left when he was governor.
What do you think of that strategy? The strategy he's advocating.
This is something he's long believed, number one.
Right.
To Gloria's point, immigration is going to be an issue in the next primary. Jeb Bush is more to the center than the base of the party, probably. Health care will be an issue in the next primary. He was very interesting today, where he said there's nothing I like about the President's Affordable Care Act, but, and then he went into what Republicans should do to replace it. He's a policy guy, which makes him interesting. The thing that was most fascinating to me about today, Wolf, is he's been off the bike a long time. He hasn't run for, he hasn't run for elected office in quite some time. So to see him in sort of the town hall style setting, I actually thought he was having fun. Number one, he was humorous. Number two, and if you're a Republican wondering, is he too rusty? If you look today, you probably think pretty good.
He was pretty good.
And he turns political questions into policy questions.
And he was twice elected governor of Florida. He was a popular governor in Florida.
They'll take the candor right out of him, though, because the minute, if he were to say, okay, I'm running for the presidency, then suddenly you have the handlers around you constantly. You're worried about every word that you speak. Right now, he can afford to be a little bit more relaxed. But once you're on that national stage, forget it. It all changes these days.
Let's not forget Florida is an important electoral state, as we
Right.
all know. All right, listen to this. He also said this today. I'll play a clip.
One of the first people I met, this was really early, maybe spring of 2007, that was a strong supporter of President Obama's in the primary. And I said, why? And he looked at me and he goes, we had a Bush, then we had a Clinton, then we had a Bush, then we're going to have a Clinton, and then he turned to me and goes, and then we're going to have a Bush? So I get the point. I get the point, and it's something that I'd have to, if I was to run, I'd have to, overcome that. And so will Hillary, by the way.
Which is a fair point, right?
Absolutely.
It is a fair point. Look, in our politics, people are always looking for new faces. Fresh faces. President Obama, it helped him. Of course, his opposition to the Iraq War helped him, too. So it is, and he noted, he went on to say, hold Hillary to the same standard. It would be an issue. It might be mitigated by the fact that if she is the Democratic nominee, it's less of an issue, or it's everybody's issue. I'll tell you this. I know from my reporting, he's thinking seriously about this. A lot of people thought when he said, I'll have a timetable later this year, they said, he's just saying that. He just wants the attention. But he has had several conversations with fundraisers recently. Now, his team says he comes in touch with them all the time. He raises money for Republican candidates. But I'm told that in those conversations, he's talked about, if I run, what would it take? Who are you with? And that. So he's thinking more seriously about this being 2016.
Even though his mother has suggested maybe he shouldn't do it.
We always listen to our mothers, Wolf. But, I think it may be the fundraisers who are more serious about this, particularly given the problems that Chris Christie has had. Suddenly, if they're sort of feel that they're in the center of the party, they're establishment part of the Republican Party, they're looking for somebody that they could say, okay, he will represent my views. If they're turning from Christie, and some poll results show they are to a certain degree, I mean, the jury's out on that, obviously, then maybe, Bush would be one of those people that they would turn to.
A more moderate Republican.